Okay, so far I've had one trade with AKAN, and I didn't make a video yesterday because I just didn't find any setups. I didn't trade anything, and I just didn't want to just talk about stuff that I could have done and then, not actually have done it. I did have a trade here, and this one did not work out, but I think it was a good attempt. I like how it was dropping here, it was up, and it was selling off, and I like how I kind of tried to break above this downtrending trend line, and then it sold off, but then it was trying to hug around the bottom right here and maybe try to make a move towards VWAP. And I did buy some at 946, which was right here in this candle, and that was at 193 and a half. So like right around here is when I entered. And the idea was is that I was gonna cut it if it were to break 192, and ideally it can make that move towards VWAP. I did sell 10 shares the next minute at 947 when it was kind of working, when it was trying to slightly break above this 197 range. And as you can see, it did get to 198, and I sold some at 197, just 10 shares. And then I really didn't like the price action. It looked like it was going to turn around and make a really ugly move just 10 seconds later, actually. And I did get out of the rest of the position at 196 and a half. And what do you know, it did actually end up making this little wick right here where it broke under this level and it sold off some, and then it tried to come back. And at that point I was no longer really interested in it, and it has continued to sell off. But it kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders is forming, shoulder head, and then maybe this was a shoulder, right, or it might make a shoulder here. But it just seems like it's sold off a bit too much and there's too many sellers. And I also looked, and there was a previous run up right here, so this is a very bad sign because it can mean there's a lot of bag holders from here. And now with this update, they're just going to continuously be selling their shares, so it's not going to let this one bounce. Obviously, this thing can get above VWAP or get to VWAP at some point, but it didn't do it when I was looking at it right here, right in the morning on the gap up with a potential for it to continue the uptrend. That was not the situation. This one is also uptrending. I was looking at it. I like how it broke past this downtrending trend line, but this one is just too sketchy the way it trades for me to throw any money at it. And in theory, it worked. I just don't like how it's all wicky right here and just kind of goes in and out. Not very clean for me to consider trading. But I like how it broke past this downtrending trend line, and it did a little break right here, I guess, and then it continued to uptrend and break above this $12 level as well, and it got as high as a 13. So that was nice. And then this one I was looking at for a reversal because I like how it was selling off for a long period of time, and then it got to a point where, as you can see, it tried to break above this, and then it sold off, and then it held back under the trend line, but then it kind of broke past it, and it had like a little baby dip right here, and then it had like a small gap up today, and it did actually uptrend a lot. It was trading between 39 and 37. I didn't like the spread, but it eventually, I guess when it broke 40, it made a nice move to the 50. So unfortunately, I traded the one that didn't work out. This one actually made a nice move, and this one also worked. I just didn't like the way that one traded again. And that's pretty much it for right now. I don't think I'll be looking for more setups, but if I happen to find something, I will. But I am going to start doing other things. And yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. It is 11:40 p.m. and I'm here to pull it off. It was just this one trade with AKAN, and that was $2.15. Not much. It didn't work. If it were to have worked, and maybe I got out at like let's just say 220, right? That would have been a 13% move. That would have been pretty cool. But this one just simply didn't work out. And it did continue to sell off. It never got to VWAP. This thing just failed absolutely. And that was pretty much it. As you can see, that's the the small difference right there. It just ended up not doing much. And this one offered a very nice move. And there were those other setups, but I don't want to go over them because I already did. And there's no point to go over them again. That's it for today. And well, I guess the one thing I could consider mentioning, this thing did work out with SPY if the charts work. It never, yeah, it was not successful in breaking above 418. So that option that I was talking about would have been profitable, I think. I still have to do more research on how to really trade those. The shoulder, head, shoulder, at least for right now, is working and didn't break above 418. And then shorting this one, right? Or maybe some puts also worked. It had like a weird bounced, but it never broke the previous high, which was in this range here, and it's been selling off since 66. It got as low as 62. Not too much of a big difference, but it's cool to see how stuff like this works. This one having really bad news, just I guess alienating their customer base. That's it for today, and yeah, hopefully I can be able to do something cool tomorrow as well.